Now, originally I planned to make this video on weekend, but I'm actually glad that I took my time with it because I kind of want to talk about the things that have been happening down on the south of the map, I believe. Now, as you guys probably know, there's quite a lot of chaos going on right now, and I've heard a lot of different things, and I kind of wanted to talk about it, but at the same time I did not want to make any claims that I have pretty much no evidence for. I mean, I've heard a lot of different things regarding the reason why we have the problem down there at the moment. But, after leaving this up for a couple of days, I've been gathering information, and even now, I don't really exactly know what all caused this. I don't think I'll ever know what caused it because, again, I've heard like 6 or 7 different potential reasons. Some of them are actually coming from very trusted sources. Some of them are coming from good corporation friends, and some of them are very trusted sources. But even that, I didn't want to make any fuss about it too much. I just let it. I just let time do its thing to see what's true or not. And well, even now, not much for me at least is known about it. Now, the only thing I can recall, the only contact that I can recall, which just covers some of the things that I've heard, is something that happened. Like I think it happened in like 2023 or 2022, but I believe it was like 2023. Back when I was still flying the Revelation, and back when we got jumped by 20 to 25 different ships. A lot of them were capitals. I think like 20 to 22, 23 capitals have been dropped on us, and all of them have been glass built. And obviously, at the time, they all dropped all of their DPS primarily on my ship first, which was a big mistake at the time. I did point that out back then, and there was the rumor that pretty much was the reason for this current chaos. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea, and pretty much I didn't want to claim any of it as being the reason for it when I don't really know. Only they know the actual reason why they decided to do what they're doing right now. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing, the only contact line that I personally have with that alliance, for example. That's what happened like 2 or 3 years ago when they dropped 20, 25, 24 ships on or 4 of our capitals, and they failed to destroy. They failed to do anything actually on our ships. All of our ships survived that encounter. They lost 2 ships. They lost the Sino and I think the Ralsnik, the Beta Ralsnik, was lost as well. Some say that was the reason for the current thing. I don't know. I personally don't think that's the case, because after giving it some time, that sounds too petty to be the reason. It could potentially be the reason, but again, I don't know. I have no idea. Even now, I have no idea. But am I taking any personal damage from all of this? Am I losing something? Well, I don't really have much stuff there anyway. I'm not losing much stuff. Corporation should not be losing much stuff. Most of the important things have been removed from that place, I think, for a couple of days now. So we are not losing anything major, anything game breaking. Obviously, I don't know what the Alliance is losing. That's one thing. Even if I knew, I wouldn't be saying, because that would be pretty evil for me to do. But I think the Alliance is also pretty good on that front. So in general, I don't think we're losing anything too major when it comes to, if we calculate the whole cost. I don't think we're losing much. In my case, I know I'm not losing anything, to be honest. If they came for that Navy carrier, well, too bad. That carrier has been out of the constellation 5 minutes after I finished recording that video, so that ship is long gone as well. There is no Navy carrier there anymore. I don't know. In any case, this is Eve. Stuff like this happens in this game. It's just part of the game. I have no problem with it. It's just, you know, how this game works, how EVE Online works. And after all, we are all here to have some fun. You know, sometimes you do stuff, sometimes you have to retreat, sometimes you have to play smart, sometimes you can eat. You know, all of that is simply part of the game. If they attempted to make me mad in any way, shape or form, well, they failed at that as well. I don't feel mad. I mean, again, this is a game. I'm here to just have fun playing the game. I think we're all here to have fun playing the game. I can't be mad at anyone or anything. I can only be mad at myself in this game, in any game actually. So, you know, things happen, things go, and things pass, and more things will happen. I mean, in my case, I'm not really stopping to do anything. I mean, I'm still doing what I'm doing now. I'm just seeing more potential content coming in the future. That's what I'm seeing, actually. More fun, and I'm definitely all in for it. But, you know, that's just one of the things that I want to mention just on a little start here. I know I'm a little bit late on an EV though, so all things have happened. I've been busy. I've been actually way too busy, to be honest, but I'm still playing the game. Even though I'm not playing as much as I used to, I'm still playing, and I'm still doing stuff that I love to do in the game, and I'm going to continue doing it. So we will have some fun today as usual. We will be a little bit hunting, we will be a little bit camping, we will do hopefully a little bit of pause hunt and stuff like that. You know, all of the stuff that comes along with, although pause hunting did have a very rough start for me. I wanted to go with a bomber run with the Alliance, but the second I was spotted, there was a little tasty bodyguard dreadnought waiting for me, and 20 other ships just waiting for my little bomber. So yeah, that's kind of a bad start, unfortunately. I picked the bad time for it, I think. But in general, there's probably hopefully going to be more of that. Although I think I'm a little bit way too late to the party as usual. I should have started with the post hunt on time, not a couple days later. But you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I can be at 5 different places at once, unfortunately. I have only one account that I actively use. But yeah, today's first target will be a Machariel, I believe. It's going to be a pretty funny one. I say funny one, you will see what I'm talking about. You know, when I'm doing a mission, even though if I'm in high sec, my eyes are glued to the local. My eyes are glued to the PvP screen and overview. And that's just, you know, how I'm pretty much used to it. Now, you would be surprised, or maybe not, depends on how long you played the game at this moment, but I'm still getting pretty surprised that I encounter completely AFK ships, and not bots, by the way, just to make it clear. I'm not talking about bots, I'm talking about actual players that go to LowSec, go in the mission, and just go full AFK. You would never catch me fully AFK in a storyline mission. If you do, that's not me. Okay? Either it's not me, or my internet died on me. That's one of the two things. I'm always having my eyes glued on local and on the PvP screen. I mean, if I see something pop in local, if I'm doing a mission, I'm out of the mission. The second I see someone pop in local. But this Machariel is a little bit of an exception to that. As I mentioned before, you know, I said this is going to be a pretty funny first encounter. Originally, this Machariel was at 0, and they were at 0, but they are aligned to the station. Now you might wonder, okay, this Machariel is aligned, and any moment they will be warping off, right? Well, if you thought that, I don't blame you. I thought the same thing. Well, here we are. Machariel doing the mission, you know, all of the NPC ships in the mission are blasting my Dominic's navy. Well, this Machariel chilling, you know, there's a big Domi navy rushing it, obviously going for blood.
We're under attack.
They don't seem to notice me. And well, scrambled and pointed, and yeah, you know what happens next. I don't need to mention what happens next.
We're under attack.
The average Machariel encounter with Dominic's navy usually ends up like this. Drone boats are terrifying, they're scary. And if there's a ship that I avoid, if there's a ship that I have second thoughts, to put it more accurately, if there's a ship that I have second thoughts of engaging, it's this thing. It's the Domi Navy. I see this ship and I'm thinking, yeah, should I really do it? Or should I just, or should I just log out and wait for the Domi to finish mission? You know, I'm respecting a Dominic's Navy a lot. These things have teeth. They're scary boats. Although I have a ship that can handle the DPS of a Domi just fine, you know, I have a Hyperion that can tank that.
Warp drive
Even
active.
with the Hyperion, you know, I'm thinking, should I just, you know, it depends on what drones they're using. If I see offense drones, if I see expensive drones, I'll eat. If I see average drones, I might think, you know, is it really worth the risk getting bombed by Domi Navy? You know, these things are scary. And the Domi Navy is definitely one of the scariest ships, battleships in the game right now. But yeah, that's the first funny little encounter for tonight, or for I'm recording this at 12 AM, by the way. That's why I'm saying tonight. For me, it's night. A 3 billion Machariel, not bad. I mean, what you usually would see from a Machariel. Surprisingly, they have a red scanner and 2 webs and a scrambler. You know, technically, this can kind of look like a PvP build, to be honest, but I wouldn't personally be using that type of Machariel for PvP. In any case, let's go to the
Undocking.
next target, and we have a Garmur. I've been thinking, I'm still thinking, you know, I don't think I will probably be there at the soft system, at the Alliance, if I wake up on time, that is. I'll probably be there. You know, I feel bad. I feel very bad to leave those guys alone. If I can be moral support, I'll be moral support. But yeah, I think I personally feel a little bit guilty because I'm way too late to the party. By the time I read what happened, it was already too late. That's pretty much what I figured out. Maybe if I was involved on time, I could have done something about it, but I personally don't think that's the case.
Enemy ships detected.
My fault for being detached from what was happening. I personally didn't think any of that would happen. It was chill, to be honest. I mean, I expected it to be chill based on the map and all that. But it happens, I guess. I can't be at 2 sides at the same time. I can be at 2 points at the same time. But yeah. We have a Garmur, by the way. While I'm babbling about what happened and what I could have done, you know, there's a Garmur about to get eaten. Stratios tackle about to happen. Well, I love the Stratios for one specific reason. It's stealthy. And unfortunately it has some I say unfortunately, this thing has some disgusting DPS. You know, if there's in a different game I play, War Thunder, you call annoying tanks rats. Well, the Stratios is probably the rat of Eve Echoes. If I were to be making a comparison between the 2 games, this is a rat ship, I guess. If we can have rat vehicles, AP gem boxes in the tank game, then this is probably the equivalent in Eve Echoes, because it's stealthy. It is annoying. This ship is annoying, I have to admit. The Stratios annoys me as well when I have to encounter it. But it's such a good ship, so I can't really blame players for using it, because it's really good ship. And it's a relatively cheap Garmur. The funny thing is the nanocore on that Garmur is the most expensive part of it, because it's golden. Probably a lot of ESC has went into that nanocore. In any case, let's go to the next target. Now this one is also a little bit funny. I think it's, yeah, let me just see what, if it's a LowSec, it is definitely a funny one. So I suspect that this LowSec was a bait. It smelled like a bait, because usually all of the ships I encountered get deleted very quickly. Only a specific build can actually withstand the first bombardment of the
Warp
bombarding
drive
plan.
active.
And this I think was one such ship, or maybe I just messed up something with modules. We were about to find out that anyway. I thought about doing a long-range engagement in this case. I thought about swapping my scammers into long-range points, but admittedly, I was a little bit lazy. I decided, you know what, if it's a bait, it's a bait, who cares? I just undocked and I went with what happens. So I didn't really, and there's a Gila by the way in the system as well. So I decided, you know what, I'll just eat. If it dies, it dies. If it doesn't die, it doesn't die. There's going to be a new ship anyway, so I went with this build. Even though now I think about it, I should have swapped stuff out and
Warp
put
drive
points,
active.
but you know, most of my recently missed targets were usually because of my laziness in swapping the modules. I just have the incorrect build for the target. And you know, that's on me. I have been a little bit lazy with fitting my ships, especially with the lag. Like, oh my god, the fitting screen lag. It's insane how long sometimes it takes. But here is the LowSec. And I think the LowSec had a Death Wish nanocore. I'm not entirely sure. When I looked at it with the Astro, I think I saw the cross at one point. I haven't been entirely sure though. I haven't really paid much attention, but I think it's a Death Wish. And you know, I went in. I launched my drones, and yeah, that's a tanky one. And this is where I realized, okay, my guess that this was a bait is probably true. That's an extender. Actually, I don't think that's one extender. It feels like, if I have to make a guess, this is a full. No, I don't know exactly what build they have. I can just speculate, but it felt like a full tank, passive tank, LowSec with a damage control, because the damage control definitely ate the bombard. If I had retreated my drones, if I reloaded them, if I launched them back, the LowSec would have been blown up, because you know, you can use damage control on the first bombardment cycle, but the second bombard will go through the damage control, and that's pretty much what will kill your ship. And they have warped out. I think they have stabbed out. I only had one long range point anyway, so to me it did smell like a bait. They had a long range point which would work really well with a Death Wish nanocore. All in all, what exactly happened, what build they had, I don't know. It was suspicious though. That LowSec was definitely suspicious, but more on that, I don't know. It's just, you know, a little funny encounter. They warped off. They did not want to stay. Now, usually, you know, if I were to get jumped, I personally always expect like 5-10 plus ships, because usually so far that's what has been happening. I mean, every time I got jumped, I wasn't really jumped by 1 or 2 ships. Oh no, I get jumped by a whole fleet. And this is pretty much, you know, been happening for quite a while. There's a very good track record of that happening, so that's kind of the baseline that I'm basing everything on. Now, it could be 1 ship, could be 2 ships. In my case, it's usually 5, 10, 15 ships, usually a whole fleet. So I wish I changed my build to go long range, but if that LowSec had the Death Wish for stabs, then even 4 long range points would not be enough to hold them, and I just decided to scare off this Gila. I just wanted to do something funny, you know. I never expected, and I don't expect, to catch a cruiser with a battleship in LowSec, especially with my name tag. I don't expect that happening. But I decided to just eat nonetheless. It would be funny. I mean, you know, you never know, really. So it was just a fun little thing that I decided to do. In any case, that was pretty fun. I didn't take much damage though, which kind of does tell me that LowSec was fully built for tank, and usually fully built tanky ships are not PvE ships. If you find a fully tanked PvE ship, that's usually my ship. My ships are tend to be tanked even for PvE. What is this? Okay, well, we have some salt. Lovely. I mean, I'm not personally even mad. I mean, I'm not really surprised anymore. I didn't get salt in this game for 4 years, I think. And if players try to get me salty, it's not gonna happen. I just don't care. That's the thing. Salt, ego, and all that stuff doesn't fly with me anymore. I'm clear of that permanently. I just want to have fun. I play to have fun, basically. It's a game at the end of the day. Games are meant to be fun. Anyway, let's go to the next target. We have a Dragon trainer. Alright, lovely. I love the fact that
Warp drive active.
in the same video I can have a faction battleship and a trainer cruiser or a trainer destroyer. I mentioned it before, any ship that's floating is a valid target. Whether it's a trainer cruiser, trainer destroyer, a venture, or a barghest, everything is a valid target. And at this
Warp drive
this point of time, I think I kind of wish that the game had the, what was it called again? I think we all know that the developers did attempt to have that kind of API system with the bot on the Discord server. Last time I updated, I had like 9,000 or 9.5 thousand, I think, and that was a year ago. So now I think I'm well over like 10, 15, maybe 11,000, 12,000 destroyed ships, which I would say is not bad, pretty good. And if I were to count the total ships that I participated in, which I used to actually count back in the day, it would be well over 50,000 ships by now. A lot of I think I didn't really make it more obvious. That's my fault. Back in the day when I counted destroyed ships, I counted the ships that I participated in, because there's been ships where I did 99% of damage and then someone got final blow and stuff like that. But I think to date I participated in maybe the destruction of 50-60,000 ships in the last 5-6 years. There was one statistic that was shown to me. I don't know when exactly, but that statistic seems to be looked to be accurate. At the time it showed 44,000, and that was I think also a year ago or 2 years ago, because I'm still stuck in 2020. My brain is still in 2024. 2 years ago I saw that list. So, well, I think it's well over 60,000 participating ships now, which honestly, it's not a bad score. It's not a bad score at all. I kind of wish that I can actually count all that, but at the moment we can't do that. Maybe in the future, I don't know. And well, I've been flying the Enforcer a little bit. It was a Succubus that burned back to the gate. And this Enforcer, I like this ship a lot. I need to fly the Enforcer a lot more. This is also one ship that I am unable to decide to build on. Let me be real. The Enforcer is good for a tank build. Yes, it can be stupidly tanky, but at the same time, it's also a cloaky ship. And if I were to go, let's say, solo in null space to hunt stuff, the Enforcer would be a very good choice besides the Stratus, because this thing is fast, can warp fast, and it has some decent defenses, can cloak, and has some decent DPS. And this is a very cursed Bellicose, by the way. I don't know, we're 6 years into the game and we still see the same cursed hybrid tanks. I have no words about that. In any case, I got distracted. Enforcer, even now I'm unable to pretty much decide what build I like on it. I tried tank, I like it. I tried DPS, I like it. I tried a fusion, I like it. Which one should I take? I mean, it's a very it's a very tough choice, honestly. You can't have one build for every situation. That's a Eve thing. Like you can have a all-around thing
Warp drive
ship
active.
built to do everything. You will have bottlenecks, you will have drawbacks, you will have stuff. Okay, well, if this sounds a little bit out of place, and if I was talking about something a second ago, and then I changed topic, it's because my recorder failed. And yeah, when my recorder fails, I completely forget what I was talking about. I'm human after all, so that happens. Anyway, it was a Typhoon 2. I didn't expect to catch this
We're
Typhoon
under
2. I
attack.
saw it being already way off the
We're
of the
under
mission.
attack.
But I thought, you know what, I may have a chance to just one-shot the Typhoon with the
We're
sentry
under
drones.
attack.
Because let me tell you, the sentries on the Dominavy, they're scary. I do not want to be exposed to the sentries of a bombard DPS Dominavy in this game.
Warp drive active.
Those are some scary drones, let me tell you. I started to use the drones on the Dominavy a couple weeks ago, and I love them on this thing.
Undocking.
The sentries are terrifying. If you have a bombard Dominavy, it definitely try out sentries. It can most of the sentries are used in PvE for a very reason. I mean, you can just warp 100 km, drop drones, and go AFK. But these things can also have some very good use for PvP. I mean, I personally started to use them myself quite, well, technically quite recently, but
Warp drive active.
I kind of wish I started to use those drones earlier because they are definitely insane. I actually have higher DPS with sentries than with my offense drones. And I've been thinking, you know, if I should get the offense sentry drones. I personally don't really like, and I missed a Cobra here. I was again way too late. I landed the second they finished the mission, and yeah, it happened. But I've been thinking if I should go buy the offense sentry drones. On paper, I would say they look good. I've been comparing the stats between my current Sentinel Pulsar sniper drones and some of the offense drones, and I kind of came to the conclusion that the overall
drive
DPS
active.
difference isn't that much. In fact, I would actually, I think if I did the math right, 50-50 on that, if I did the math right, it honestly does feel like the Pulsar Sentinels, they're currently the drones I'm using, the current sentries, it does feel like they do about the same damage, maybe a little bit more damage than some of the offense drones of the normal drones, of the normal sentries. I personally don't really like that, but at the same time, the difference is just way too little to actually justify me spending another 5-6 billion on new drones. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what is going on? Well, if the screen is completely, covered, it's because I am on the login screen and I'm waiting for my friend to tackle a Vindicator, because apparently the Vindicator seems to know me and they don't want to even attempt undocking with me in the system. So, naturally, I'll just be logged off and I'll just wait for my friend to tackle. And my friend said I should get a tackle out. My friend is correct. I should get a tackle out. And I've been thinking about that, but unfortunately right now I'm a little bit lazy. Laziness is, again, as I mentioned before, the first factor of me missing so many ships lately. Me being lazy for build, for not having an alt, that's pretty much the reason why I didn't catch as many ships as I could. But in any case, my friend has tackled the Vindicator, and we are undocking. Obviously, I'll just drop the Dominavy with sentries. One good thing about sentries, in the case of having to go respawn somewhere quickly, I actually don't really need to worry about how close I land to the target because I'm using sentries. I can just warp 100, I'll still have range. My sentries hit up to 200 kilometers, I believe, something like that, 150 or 200 kilometers. So I'm pretty much covered pretty well when it comes to overall range.
Warp drive active.
And I'll just warp at any distance. If we have a tackle alt, if we have a tackle ship, it's just making things easier. I can just warp anywhere and load bombard. And this this Dominic's, this Vindicator is about to have a very bad day. Let's see how much damage I'll manage to do. I forgot one important thing. I forgot to enable siege mode. It didn't matter though. Sentries still did enough damage. Well, that was fast. I mean, you know, you can't really expect too much from a sniper built battleship. Usually they don't have a lot of tank. It's funny, it's a sniper, but I warped at 0. I mean, I did that on purpose because sentries. One thing that where sentries will be bad at is tracking at close distances. Maybe you could track, let's say, a capital ship, but if a battleship is too close to you and if you have sentries and if they're moving, it's not going to end well because the sentries shouldn't have tracking and they're not moving. So sentries are primarily for sniping up to medium range distance, but even at medium range distance I would not trust them. I would just go full snipe 100 plus kilometers. That's how I personally view sentry drones at the current moment of time. And let's take a look. 3.1 billion is Vindicator. As I already mentioned, Vindicator was a sniper build, so you can't really expect a lot of tank on such a ship. 4 webs, alrighty then, and a Dragoon Trent nanocore. Okay, that nanocore can be a little bit problematic because it can remove lock, you know, and I haven't had the experience with that so far. Now next target, we have a Succubus. Now you might be thinking, okay, it's a Succubus, it's a frigate versus 2 cruisers. Now what would be the smart thing? Engage the 2 cruisers or burn away or try to burn back to the gate? Well, with this Succubus, the choice was to engage. Why? I have no idea. If I were a Succubus and if I landed on a bubble with an enforcer and a bubble, I would not engage because I would suspect that those ships are equipped with webs, equipped with points, scramblers and stuff like that. Primarily webs. I am mostly worried about webs with frigates. Scramble with an afterburn frigate is not a big problem. Can slow down, but a web can. And well, you might be wondering, well, that's a good loot. It is 118 million loot from that Succubus. So they have been hauling materials, blueprints, and they decided to engage a gate camp. Not really what I would say was the best idea of all the things. Honestly, I'm a little bit confused at what happened and why they engaged. I don't know, I mean, I've seen some bad decisions in the game. I made some bad decisions in the game, obviously, but I wouldn't do this. I would definitely not do this because that's a good loot. That's a decent loot drop from the Succubus. So next time, don't engage 2 cruisers with a frigate because those cruisers are probably going to be equipped to deal with frigates. I mean, I'm using heavy assault missiles, but I'm still able to do stuff with them against frigates because of the recent buff, and obviously the Enforcer has bonuses on missiles as well. Next, we have a little exploration frigate. a little snack for my Astro. This is a little ship that I love to fly as well. I actually started to use the Astro a lot more for combat in general, and personally, I might not fly and this exploration frigate is running the sites with this current hitbox. I mean, I think we all know that this particular station, this particular hitbox is a little bit nasty to handle, because there's invisible walls where you can get stuck and you will be unable to warp, and that's why I avoid to do that mission. But yeah, this exploration frigate is about to get is about to experience the the Aster, not Stratius. So yeah, I mean, and I don't expect good loot out of it, to be honest. It just doesn't feel like a expensive ship. But in any case, we are nearing the end of the video, and I think I covered most of the topics today. Again, I will try to be there with the Alliance when things go down. Do I like the Alliance? Yeah, I think they're pretty chill. They're pretty chill Alliance. I love it. Actually, I love the Alliance, to be more accurate. I've been enjoying the Black Ops operations, even though unfortunately I haven't been in a lot of them. I should do a lot more Black Ops operations with them. They're fun, and they're actually fun. I enjoyed them in the past. It's just right now I unfortunately don't have that much time. A lot of things are happening in the background that I can't talk about right now, but they're happening in real life. Things in real life that kind of put the game time for me in this game a little bit on the lower end, and that makes me a little bit sad, because I love the game. I love the Corp. I love the Alliance. I want to play more. I hope I will be able to play more very soon. But man, things when things happen out of the blue like that, you just sit there and wonder. Hard to put it into words, but life throws lemons at you at one point, and you simply just have to take those lemons and make a lemonade out of it. I'm good, I'm health-wise, I think I'm good, but things that are happening around it are just a little bit crazy in a way, and all that has an impact on how long I play game. I mean, I play. If you look at the channel, you see I play a lot of tanks. Well, the reason for that is because it's a game that I can play, but I don't really have to play it seriously. Tanks is definitely less serious than Eve, and the battles are I can just leave the battle and go to the next one. In this game, I can't really do that. Eve definitely takes a lot more planning and a lot more time to actually to do. With the tank game, I can just play battles, record stuff, upload stuff, and it keeps going. With Eve, I actually have to be smart, and I'm trying to be smart with the game, trying to play the game as it's meant to be played, with the brain. So yeah, hopefully that explains the current activity level that I'm doing. It's not because I want to; it's just the current situation I'm in. So I have to be a bit smart. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this somewhat longer video than usual. Sorry for my rambling, and if I sound rambly, I had a couple of drinks before making the video. Makes me think a bit clearer. Clear thinking with a couple of drinks. Yeah, that's just how I work. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, it would mean a lot to me. And if you would like to support me, you can. I mean, just like and subscribe if you want. I'm not pushing anyone to do that. Only if you guys want to. If you think that if you want to do that. But with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll definitely see you in the next one.